Why are we updating and revisiting every weapon in Don't Starve Together 3 years later, knowing full well that 2023 is likely to introduce even more to the list? Well, because there's new stuff to cover before there's actually new stuff to cover. That's why. Our arsenals have grown and been very refined, which gives us a perfect return to the prospect of murder, so let's get to it. And we'll start from the lowest damage out there, only to work our way up, yes. That said, do not count out a Tailo 3 Cats based solely on that alone. Not when it offers 175 uses total, can keep us safe through its extended melee range, and can even crack mobs to de-aggro them for a time. Heck, some of them even become completely useless. Tailo 3 Cats can quote-unquote pacify mobs, monsters, and certain bosses 25, 20, and 5% of the time respectively for a short time, but really all you need to know is what you just saw before you hear, because the cracking mechanic and pacification is not all it's cut out to be. Bull Kelp is next, specifically Bull Kelp stalks, and they are found beached on the lunar beaches themselves, in ocean debris, or uprooted via cannons or strident tridents as seen in the bottom right there. They can be planted for kelp fronds if you do so choose to do so. However, today, we're only concerned about their whipping potential. They too deal 27.2 damage, but they also lose 2 to 4% durability per hit, and have a 10% chance at breaking once below 50% durability, which is just not good. Speaking of strident tridents though, blueprints for one can come via the Crap King or be found randomly in Claus's loot stash. However, that is only half the battle. Crafting these things is not easy, as each one is going to require 3 narwhal horns, which are rare in and of themselves. But manage to craft one though, and you'll notice it dealing 27.2 damage on land, 68 damage on the water, or just whenever you're on a nautical circle of wood, mind. And also it's added water-based spell abilities that can uproot kelp, fish essentially, puncture boats, break sea stacks and salt formations, push stuff floating on the water, and even deal 85 damage to whatever those geysers hits. Enjoy the 150 uses however you please. Or just craft a classic that technically has no uses whatsoever through the exploitation and absolute murder of pigs at your leisure. It's your choice. Ham bats are shockingly easy to create as long as you've got an alchemy on hand, and while it's true that we can use them forever, they are a food item still, so spoilage matters. Fresh bats will boast 59.5-ish damage, and will lose roughly 3 damage overall per day until it rests at 28.9 damage right before it rots. But seeing how it is indeed a food, this timer can actually be extended or shortened through various means, so make note and use them wisely, and perhaps a little quickly. But if we're talking classics, then nothing comes close to our trusty spears. It's simple, folks. Spears are the most basic weapon out there, at 34 damage a swing and 150 uses total, but nowadays, they not only go into 2 magic weapons, stats that we'll briefly mention again here soon, but also character-specific structures like words, merm, fortifications. But even more recently introduced, the fencing sword is a spear's 3rd and final craft, and is actually an entirely new weapon itself. It might deal the same damage as a spear, and have slightly slower attack rates. However, it ups a spear's uses by 50, all the while turning a potentially broken one into a fresh weapon, and it just so happens to be a weapon that also rotates signs, doors, and fences at the end of the day. It's good stuff. Oh, but the truly good stuff is still to come, like the Bat Bats. Being as cheap as ever with its reduced craft overall, and the fact that Battleists now drop their wings more often, a Bat Bat's potential will leech 6.8 health from whatever we hit, while also dealing 42.5 damage itself with each swing, is more enticing than ever. Be mindful though, each leech costs us 3.4 sanity ourselves, and if we're at full health already, the thing kinda loses all of its special abilities. Moving on though to the Wigfrid exclusive battle spear that only she can craft, yes, but we can still use, and if we do so, we will enjoy 42.5 damage per every one of the thing's 200 uses total at the cost of twigs, flint, and gold. Morning stars help return us to some special places, just as long as we have the know-how to obtain some Vault Goat horns, as while they only up things to 43.4 damage, they not only lose durability when held, but also provide light while doing so, can charge Vault Goats, and then deal a respectable 72.3 damage to anything that happens to be wet due to their electrical damage modifier. So make notes and use it well. Next up are Tentacle Spikes, which are in no way craftable or obtainable through any other means beyond dropping from actual tentacles, be them big or normal mind, 50% of the time. But that's fine, I think, as when we do find one, I think we'll get plenty use out of them at 51 damage per hit. Another weapon unattainable through other means is the Shield of Terror. So get out there and find your conspicuous chest, only to drop the terrarium you find inside it in order to corrupt the thing with nightmare fuel, as we need to face down and kill the Twins of Terror in totally legit manner so that we ourselves can get the shield. And why go through such trouble, you ask? Well, because not only will the shield deal 51 damage per hit, it will also protect us from any hits we take, as it's also an armor piece, and it is very unique in this regard, and it gets even better as it can be refueled via food just as long as we don't let it reach 0% durability. So have fun. The Thule Cyclub returns to the screen for the first time in a long while, and while it will still work all the same as ever, meaning it's going to deal 59.5 damage a swing, plus have a 20% chance to spawn additional shadow tentacles that also deal 34 damage themselves, the Ancient Mace now boasts 200 uses total since we last truly bonked with its. Not bad. Minus the sanity auras of the shadow tentacles that can still negatively impact us, of course. And to continue along these lines, the Dark Sword is another that really hasn't changed all that much, dealing its usual 68 damage for every one of its 100 uses. However, note that old Wanda and Maxwell players now no longer suffer the minus 20 per minute sanity drain like the rest of us. Furthermore, all Dark Swords in any of our hands are now a target for greater gestalts, which is a massive problem in the late game. They're still really good though. Glass cutters are too, although I really wouldn't blame you for not using them all that often. It's true that they only offer 75 uses, 150 for fighting shadows, which includes the shadow pieces and fuel weaver though, mind, and they can also be quite expensive, but at 68 damage a pop with no other downsides, I think they do deserve a bit more love, honestly. And who knows, they might actually get some with some new updates on the horizon. For now though, let's focus on some actual updates that brought new weapons with them, like Wanda's release. The alarming clock is by far the strongest weapon in this flipping game, and only gets stronger as Wanda ages, as seen here. And all you really need to know beyond that is that it's a Wanda exclusive, that is refuelable through nightmare fuel, and that greater gestalts don't like it. To continue then, another Granny update introduced the still very odd fiery pen, obtained and fueled via extinguishing fires via the Pyrokinetics Explained novel, and it's strange because it's just a fire staff, but worse. No, not kidding. I really have no bloody idea why this thing is even in the game. On the contrary, I do know why all of this is in the game, even if a select few are completely ignorable, because we just dedicated a video to them all not too long ago. Plus, literally nothing has changed for range combat in this game beyond Walter's poop pellets being a teensy tiny bit better, so there was literally no point in rehashing things here today. Wanna know what the heck that spiky blue ball is though? Go watch this video. And yeah, while all of these traps and explosives are technically weapons too, we also just covered them all rather recently in their own videos and in far more detail than I'd be able to get into today, so head to any of these guides if you need to know more. As there you have it, everyone, all weapons updated and revisited, minus all the weapons that we sort of updated and revisited throughout these years already. And yes, we can expect the very same for all the armor soon too. Thanks for watching. Well wishes to all. Many Treeguardians were indeed harmed in the making of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.